Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today I have this EG hatch in the shop that got dropped off for a dyno tune, and it's got a couple little bugs we got to work out. So it got dropped off today. He wanted me to pretty much just chip the computer and send him on his way. So I told him I'll dyno tune it, and here we are. So this is the setup. I'm hoping he's gonna let me fix some of the stuff that's going on with it, because there's a few things that need addressing. I just pulled the car in the shop. It actually idles fairly good, but as soon as you give it gas, it dies. And it has a check engine light on, and I'm not sure why. After getting the car into the shop, oh, by the way, it's a D15 B7 with a eBay turbo kit, eBay ram horn and stuff like that. Looks like they've done a couple of little weld jobs on it already, because these manifolds are notorious for cracking because they're really thin. So anyways, turbo kit's on. He's got big 3-inch, nice intercooler piping here. But like I said, when I initially pulled the car into the shop, he dropped it off earlier today. I wasn't here. But I pulled it into the shop and I smelled gas, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I was looking down by the injectors. I didn't see any gas leaks there, but by their aftermarket fuel pressure regulator over here, there was gas coming out of this hose clamped fitting right here. So there's a lot of rubber hose. I don't know if this is fuel injection hose or not, but there is a lot of rubber hose on it, just hose clamped onto the stock lines, which can work in a pinch, but it's definitely not ideal, especially on a turbo car. I've tuned a couple cars with rubber hose on it, but it's, like I said, it's just not ideal. I'm unsure of what injectors are in it. They definitely do need a Denso connector, I think. Yeah, so these are like a Denso style connector. This is an EV1 connector that they modified to fit the Denso injector. So I gotta figure something out there. I don't know what we're gonna do for that, because I need Denso style connectors, because I'm not sending it out the door or tuning it like this with these wires just like this, because if these wires touch, it's not good. You could fry out injector drivers and stuff like that. So I would like to redo this injector wiring for them. But yeah, this is kind of just like my initial inspection, kind of going through looking at stuff, and looks like there's a sensor here going to something, the coolant temp on the head maybe, that they got taped up or twisted up. And yeah, so like I said, we're gonna try to see what we can do. It looks like they have an Allen wrench already on the regulator, like they were adjusting something. So maybe we'll see, because it looks like it's got fuel pressure right now. I wonder where it's at. Wonder where the pressure's at when I turn the key. Let's see if we can see. Looks like it's only at 40. Yeah, that's way higher than it should be. What the fuck? And it's just spewing gas. It's just spewing gas. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, but it was spewing gas out of somewhere. I'm assuming this hose down here. Man, I don't know how far I want to go into this thing. We'll find out tomorrow. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Alright guys, so I just wanted to check the ECU on this car and see if it was chipped or not. It's not. So the ECU that I got brought in with is a stock P06. So I gotta see if I have an ECU. I don't know if I do. And I also noticed while I was just tinkering, looking at stuff, that it has a boost controller, has the boost reference coming off the turbo here. Sorry if my camera's not focusing. This hose comes off the turbo, goes into the boost controller, out of the boost controller, to a T, to the top, and the bottom. So, this thing would make all the boost if it had the reference going to the top. We need to get rid of this and probably start by tuning with just the reference to the bottom. I don't really like these style controllers either. It's like a Turbo Smart, I think this one is. I don't really like these style controllers. Honestly, you're better off just putting a T in line and venting the T to atmosphere if you want a little bit more boost, or getting like a Hallman manual style controller with the ball and spring. Those are way better options than those style controllers in my opinion, or the cheap eBay ones. But we're going to start by seeing what it makes on the bottom, just reference to the bottom of the gate. But there's a lot of other things we got to cover first. So I don't know. I'm going to talk to the customer and see where we start. Also, this this feed line has to get rectified somehow. Tie it somewhere where it's not going to burn and melt and start a fire. But first we should probably fix the gas leak next to the battery. Also, I wanted to mention another thing of possibly why it has a fuel leak in the first place is, like I said, these clamps and shit would probably work, to be honest. It's not the safest way to do it, but this is probably leaking because it has a ton of pressure in it, and that's probably why they put two clamps on it, because this is the feed line coming off of the fuel pump, and it's going to the bottom side. So if you can see that, it's going to the bottom side of the regulator, which is typically the return. You usually want to feed into the side, come out the side, go to the motor, and then the excess gets dumped out the bottom. But it has to fight through the bottom to get out the side to go to the motor. So that's wrong. We have to fix that. Honestly, I'm probably just going to ditch that fuel regulator altogether. But it kind of explains if this is, he said they're like 1,000 or 1,500 cc injector. If it's just trickling fuel into the fuel rail and there's like not actually any fuel going in, it's probably why it idles. Because if it actually had proper fuel pressure going to the rail, which I don't think it does, it probably wouldn't run with these bigger injectors. Just a thought. Alrighty guys, I don't know where I left off with this little sketchy D15 car, but I did get a lot of stuff cleaned up on it. I fixed the injector wiring. I just got some new pigtails for it. And then I also deleted the pressure regulator over there, so it only has this pressure regulator now. But we're just trying to get it running good for him, you know? It didn't even rev up. But now that the injectors are wired, oh, also I didn't have a computer for it. So he had two computers in the car. One was a P06 and one was a P75. All the computers I have here are for coil on plug or Hondata. So I texted him and I said, hey, I need a computer. He found a chipped P72 and brought it down. And I plugged it in and it had a solid check engine light. So I'm like, great, what's this? Found out why it had a solid check engine light. Because the chip inside of that ECU had a broken leg. So I've actually made my own legs for the chips before, or you just like put a little dab of solder on there and then you like file it to make it a leg. I've done that before in a pinch, but I just replaced the chip in his P72 and the socket's a little sketchy in it, but it is working now. hopefully it continues to work for him. And I threw a base map on it with HTS, and the car ran like complete crap. It was wanting a lot of fuel at idle, and then like right below idle was super rich, and I had no fuel in it. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I'm changing dead times, and I'm changing a bunch of injector data. Mind you, I have no idea what these injectors are. No clue. I honestly don't. I'm assuming they're like between a 550 and a 2200, you know? So what I ended up doing is I was playing with HTS for like, I don't know, an hour or so. And I said, man, the hell with this. I don't know what these injectors are, whatever. Let's try a chrome map. So I put the car on chrome, fucking runs perfect. Don't know what it is with the injector stuff on HTS, but it seems to give me headaches a lot. Unless you're running like a set of decaps or something, then HTS works great. For other stuff I'm questioning on, for injectors, I don't know, I put them on chrome and they seem to run a lot better. I don't know what it is, but it runs good on chrome, so that's what I'm gonna use. Because I don't feel like messing around and trying a bunch of stuff on HTS. So, I'm gonna show you the chrome map that we got currently. I'm gonna write this tune into here. The only thing I had to do to the chrome file was I did have to add some fuel to it because it was really lean at idle, but as soon as I drove it, it was really good, or it was rich. So I pulled a bunch of fuel out up here. This is another car I tuned previously. This was a B18 non-VTEC with an eBay turbo kit, and down here was really lean, and up here was really rich. So I just adjusted this stuff, made sure to keep the map as smooth as possible, even though you can see this column here is actually smaller than the column to the left. So I might just add a skosh of fuel here. There we go. Because we want to make sure our values go higher as we go to the right. You don't want them going low, high, low. You want it to go low, high, higher, 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 higher. Same thing with RPM typically, until the car runs out of fuel, or the car stops making power, then you're going to want to taper the fuel out. So, but most setups you can honestly just keep fuel in it up top, and it's just going to run a little bit rich up top, but sometimes it's safer to keep them that way. Here's the timing map I have in it currently. I do this on a lot of cars that struggle to idle. I jam a bunch of timing in them down low, and then I set my base timing here. So when it dips, it catches itself and it's not even noticeable usually. But the timing in this thing is super soft. But we're gonna try it out. We'll probably bump up the timing after a couple pulls and see if we can pick power up a timing, but it is a single cam. They don't like timing. All right, so I just got the chip put in the computer. Whenever we do a new tune, I always make sure the engine light goes on and then flashes off. Let's see how she runs. Damn. Breathe on the key, it fired right up. Might need a little bit of fuel at idle. Sounds a little spitty poppy. Not too bad. But surprisingly, the motor is really quiet and it runs pretty good. And I was right. The only reason it ran before was because there was no fuel pressure in the rail. So there was probably just trickles of fuel in the rail with the fuel regulator the way it was. Once I fixed the regulator and it actually had pressure going to the rail, this thing fucking did not run. It was way too rich with these injectors. Damn, pretty close for not knowing what the hell these injectors are. All right, let's do our first tug. See what kind of power we can make with this bad girl. You think this thing's gonna yank the fucking hooks out of the ground?
Probably, I would say at like 240.
Yeah.
This is gonna make all the moves.
All right, so it was a little rich. I don't have much timing in it. I think I saw like 4 pounds. The boost, pretty low. 149 horsepower, 160 foot-pounds. That's where these little D15s shine. You know, they make the torque. It was pretty rich up top too. The power was pretty flat up there. I'm gonna make a change to it. We're gonna give it 2 degrees of timing, and I'm gonna pull out a little bit of fuel just way up top. All right, put 2 degrees in it. I pulled a little bit of fuel out up top. Not a whole lot. Let's see if the timing makes a difference. It should, because it's really conservative. Oh, this thing is stinky poo-poo. Ooh. You think it's because the drain line goes up? I didn't fix that. Ooh. Didn't really make any difference.
Hey, what
I was revving it higher for no gain.
150.
On 152. Picked up 3 horsepower.
Nice.
Alright, well, I don't know what else to do other than unhook the wastegate.
What is she on, 35 pounds?
Oh, it's on like 3. 4 pounds maybe. She seems really anemic, like it's got a boost leak or something.
It could be, but I just don't see why it would. No, the wastegate would have to leak, but it's...
Well, we'll put a T in here and see if it picks up power. See if we can get the boost a little higher, because they did have a T here. But they had the T going to the top, which might... Sometimes when it's T'd to the top, it'll double whatever the base is. So maybe we could try that. Let's try just the T first, and then we'll try the T to the top if it's not enough. We want to try to make like as much as a B series, you know? Yeah. Why would you turbo your single cam if you still can't hang with a B series, you know?
197 we'll need.
All right, well, we'll be back in a minute. All right. Horsepower engaged. Let's try it now. I'm gonna try to pay attention to the boost gauge this time. Well, the T in the line, I don't think made any difference. In fact, it lost power. It lost 2 horsepower. So, this thing, I don't know. What's wrong with it? Oh, I might see the issue. There's a Fernco coupler down there, like a Menards one. Yeah. It's not even hooked up. Trevor, I found a problem.
What's the problem?
There's a hole. There's a leak. There's a leak. Yeah, pretty big one. Well, I'll try to get that straightened out and we'll try again. All right, so we have a slight issue. So this is the coupler that's on the car. This is a Fernco Special, we like to call them. We get these at the hardware store. They're for plumbing. They hold about 10 pounds of boost, but after that they split and they don't really hold. Unless you electrical tape the shit out of them, then sometimes they work for a little bit. I think actually, like 10 years ago, I had a hatch with a GSR, and I used the Fernco couplings that have the little metal liner on them, and I think I went 10s in the quarter with a fucking Fernco. But you got to get creative so these don't pop off. You can maybe see up in here. So the pipe comes out at an angle this way, and the turbo is this way. So we need to, or what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to pull this pipe down a little bit, and I'm going to try to clock the turbo down that way so we can have a little bit more straighter of a shot, and hopefully it'll work. So I'm going to have to loosen up the bolts around the compressor housing here, and then hopefully rotate the compressor housing down, and I'm hoping we can get that coupling to fit. Hunter without a hat. I plugged off the T for now because I fixed the coupler down there. It's not great, but I think it'll do. I think it might work. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if it works. Up, did you hear it? Yeah, so for one, it's making boost now. For two, we probably got to gap the spark plugs down. For three, I think we got to get rid of this boost controller because I don't think the boost was going to level. And like I said, it's got that inline Turbo Smart style controller. I don't really like those. Let's try to see if we can bypass that and see what the actual wastegate's at. But let's see just that little baby pull, if it made a difference. Oh yeah! Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah! She's on the right track now. That was 200 foot-pounds. Right at about 5 grand. So we're making some headway, boys and girls. Alright. Boost controller bypassed. Let's try again. I forgot to gap the plugs. Let's gap the plugs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm not assuming.
Now, typically, when something's wet, it's a good thing. These, not so much. You know what they say, when the river runs red, take the dirt road, man, but this ain't it. Here, have some oil.
All right, so the spark plugs are a little bit oily. A lot of it. It needs a valve cover gasket, probably. The seals inside of there.
We'll just RTV it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I can see the seals are like pushed out.
Are you gonna install them backwards like you did your K-Series?
No, I'm not gonna do that. It's a 2-stroke.
Oh, I figured out why it stinks.
Yeah, so part of the reason probably why it's smoking so bad. Autolite. Well, we gotta ditch those. Man, one thing after another, but it's okay. It just comes with tuning, I guess. You wanna know what makes me feel good, Trevor?
Playing with shop dogs?
Well, besides shop dogs.
Shop dog. Shop dog.
This is Lucy.
Yeah, shop dog.
She runs this.
Lucy Boosh. Lucy Goosh.
She's got a higher net worth than all of us combined.
Probably. But anyways, I do kind of enjoy working on these things as much as I make it sound like I hate it. Because one, I think it makes good content, and two, I don't know what this guy would have done otherwise. Nobody would have touched this thing. Nobody. I can almost promise nobody would have touched it. And if they would have charged a lot of money.
I would have.
Well, yeah, you would have.
I would have.
Yeah, you would have.
$100 an hour.
Yeah. But
And then have you too.
I just hope that like these people, you know, are realizing this little stuff that we're doing to help. You know.
Stay humble. That's the problem. Like, half the
Work
time-
hard, stay humble, bruh.
Well, that's the thing though. Half the time that everyone drops something off, they think it's done, and it's the farthest thing from complete.
Right.
And they don't want to stick any more money into it, or they think they did it right and it wasn't right. It's just a
Yeah. There's always something though. Like even Ryan was just here with that Mustang not too long ago, and he went through the whole thing with a fine-tooth comb. Still had issues on the dyno. Everything has issues on the dyno. I don't care what it is. You know, it's just a thing. I can probably still count on one hand out of like the 100-some cars I've tuned, how many have come in that I've literally just strapped and tuned.
half of the ones on your count on your hand are probably bone stock with superchargers put onto it, like a CTSV or
Right.
a Corvette with a like.
Yeah. Or an NAB series.
Even those-
I mean, they're off a tooth of timing or whatever, but yeah.
Or they run a rye wire harness and it's not right or something.
Yeah. But we're making like 8 pounds or 10 pounds now. And we gotta get some spark plugs for this thing, so I'll let you know in a minute. Alright. Got a new valve cover gasket from the parts store. Just got the old one removed. Here's the new one we're putting in. The new seals. And then it also comes with the new grommets for the top. And the perimeter seal. So we're gonna get this installed. Had to go to freaking 3 different parts stores to find a set of BKR7E. Parts stores are slacking lately. I need to just order the shit on Amazon, to be honest. So I have it here. But I ran out of my bundle of plugs that I bought last year. I gotta re-up. So let's get this new one installed and the new plugs. Alright guys, we're ready for another dyno pull. New cover gasket, new spark plug wire, or spark plugs. And hopefully it doesn't break up spark anymore. Gap down them BKR7Es. Old trusty spark plugs. Let's make some power. Well, it's not breaking up anymore, but it is rich. Quite rich. It's making some power. Maybe a little too much. 240 horse. I did see a little over 10 pounds, but yeah.
Pissed off though.
Yeah, it's ripping now. Look at the difference. Wow. Alrighty guys, so the last pull that we just did made some good power. I'm not gonna lie. Pray for the D15. I just leaned it out. It was like 10-0 air fuel last time. I'm leaning it out. We're gonna see what it does this time around. Still got to clean up a little bit of fueling, but this little D15, it might be on a little bit more than 10 pounds, but it's the lowest boost we can run. So what do? You just make it happen. Low timing, pretty rich air fuel, and I leaned it out and it didn't really make a difference. So probably just leave it rich. 246. 235 foot-pounds. Not too shitty. So these are the recent runs right here. Probably just gonna try to clean up a little bit more fueling and probably do one last run with it just to verify, back it up. And yeah, this thing's pretty much finished up. The sketchy little Civic turned out pretty good, actually. Just need to give them a little love sometimes in order to get rid of the BS stuff going on. So yeah. So I'm doing the best with what I got here. As you can see, the car's idling really well. Pretty much perfect air fuel, nice and smooth. Yeah. But like I said, these injectors are completely unknown. This motor is really smooth. I like it. But man, I've been struggling trying to get like the cruising part of the map dialed in. And for one, it's because the dead times are probably way off. Like I said, I have no idea what these things even are. I never flow tested them. And you guys probably wonder why 90% of the shit that comes into the shop for tuning, I pull the injectors out and I test them. Because 90% of the time, the injectors are way off. And a lot of times tuning goes smoother when I test the injectors and everything's good prior to dynoing. I'm gonna show you some examples here. The air fuel is just not consistent. Like, cruising and stuff is like super rich, and I don't know why. Wideband's kind of all over the place. It's actually not terrible right now, but I'll do a pull. Come back down to idle. Now leave it sit here for a second. I didn't touch the computer at all. $12.5. It's 2 points richer after doing a pull. You know, like I said, I'm doing the best with this budget stuff, and it, you know, car runs good. You didn't have wideband in it, you never know, but it's still just kind of, as a tuner, these little things really kind of bother me. All right, so I think the Civic is as best as it's gonna get. The injectors were a little funny. I took the car actually out for a little street drive down the road just to kind of verify the tune and stuff. Trevor's first beer.
Yep, just gotta go break the seal. By the way, this video is sponsored by Michelob Ultra.
But anyways, I drove it down the street just to make sure everything was okay, and I did a pull right down the street, and the fucker leaned out. It never leaned out on the dyno, but the car only had about a quarter tank of gas in it. And when you put a fuel pump in the Civics and you don't install the sock and stuff right, or you don't set the fuel pump exactly where it needs to be, or when you put the fuel pump in crooked or whatever, well, even just having a stock fuel tank in general, they will slosh. So when you accelerate, the fuel will run away from the fuel pump and it'll suck air and it'll actually lean out. So I took it to the gas station, I filled it up for the guy, didn't charge him, and I did another pull down the street just to verify air fuel was good. I banged into third and I could hear it audibly detonating, like marbles under the hood, just, you know, it's just getting pushed. That little motor on that much power is a ticking time bomb, and I told him that, just kind of be easy on it. He's actually going to probably be coming back and we're gonna tune it on E85. There's a reason I don't tune shit on pump gas, just because it's hard to keep detonation out of a little 1.5 like that, especially with the way the head is and how much torque they make at, like, you know, 4,500 RPM or whatever. I think peak torque on that damn thing was like right around 45 or 5,000 RPM. And that's right where you could kind of hear it audibly detonate for a second. So, and this is the timing map that I have in the car currently. I'm going to show you. So running any less timing than this, in my opinion, is worse for the motor. It only has 9 degrees or something like that in it. At peak torque, it has like 13 degrees. And it didn't make a difference with power, but it's still, no matter how little a timing you put in them, sometimes they just keep rattling, they keep detonating. It's super rich. You know, unless, the only other thing too with that car is, if I couldn't keep the detonation out of it, is if one of the injectors is low, like it doesn't flow as much as the other ones, that one cylinder could be rattling, because that one cylinder could be lean. There's a lot of variables, and when I send stuff out the door like this, it's not what I like to do. I definitely like to go through stuff with a fine-tooth comb before I, you know, send it out the door. These guys were pretty amped on coming to get the car right away, so I just told them be easy on it. With this much horsepower, don't be racing a Corvette down the freeway, kind of thing. And, you know, just don't be dumb with it. So in the meantime, he's just gonna bomb it around town and have a little ripper kind of thing. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be trying to find him a Z6 motor to build, and he wants to build a motor with us. So maybe we'll do some more with that car coming soon. But for now, this one was kind of, you know, as good as it's gonna get. And it's pretty damn good, but a little sketchy, you know, sketchy Civic. But I'd actually like to build a 1.5 one day, maybe. I think they're fun. They make a lot of fucking mid-range.
It'd be a lot of fun.
What? If these bugs would get out of here?
Yeah, it's about 6 more beers and then we'll just go feel like Batman on the scooter.
On the electric scooter?
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna go meet Cletus this week?
Maybe, if he's cool.
I mean, I don't know. He's coming up to our home track, not our home track, but our kind of home track. It's the second home track.
Right.
So we might be going down there on Wednesday. We're pretty excited. And, huh?
I mean, might. So we might be going down there.
Oh, we're gonna go down there on Wednesday.
I was gonna say, I'd beat your ass, boy.
And somebody might be coming to get the Integra on Thursday. We'll see. A lot of stuff happening this week, but anyways. T-Bag's gonna go crash my scooter.
Are you gonna film it?
I don't remember.
You don't even know how to turn it on.
Dude, there's too many of them.
That was more. That's the lights. You can steal it if you can figure out how to turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
It's power though. Oh, why is there a strobe? I broke it. As I got it. Nope. Oh, what the fuck?
I fixed it for you.
Thanks. Gotta go.
Don't die.
I will.
No. Liquid encouragement at its finest. Ooh, you're making a dust storm. What?
Why is this thing so slow? Oh, it's because I'm not on dual motor.
Yeah, you're only in single motor, dude.
I gotta remember to change that again. It's that one. Nope.
Oh my God. Okay, we're done. You're done.